Most people are terrified of looking dumb. We want to sound smart, have the answer ready, and never admit we don't know. But let me ask you, has that ever actually made your thinking sharper? Or has it just made you defensive, anxious, and closed off to learning? Here's the paradox. The more you try to act smart, the dumber your thinking gets. The more you allow yourself to act dumb, the sharper your thinking becomes. Why? Because acting smart usually means protecting what you already know. You cling to your opinions. You talk more than you listen. You fill gaps with assumptions so you don't look clueless. That shuts down learning. But acting dumb flips the script. It means admitting what you don't know, asking basic questions, exploring without ego. And when you do that, you open the door to real insight. Psychologists call this the beginner's mind. Kids do this naturally. They ask why 50 times in a row. It's annoying, sure, but it's also why they learn faster than adults. Adults stop doing it because we're embarrassed to look dumb. But here's the twist. The genius thinkers never stopped. Think about the greatest discoveries in history. They didn't start with someone flexing knowledge. They started with dumb questions. Why does an apple fall? Why does light bend? Why does the sky change color? Simple questions, but they cracked open entire fields of science. So, how do you use this paradox in your own life? At work, someone explains a process you don't fully get. Old move, nod along, pretend you understand, then struggle later. New move, act dumb. Ask the obvious question. Can you walk me through that again? For a second, you might feel exposed. But here's the irony. Most people in the room had the same question. You just became the one who actually got clarity. In relationships, your partner says you don't get it. Old move, defend yourself, argue, insist you do. New move, act dumb. Say, you're right, I don't fully get it. Can you explain? That so-called dumb move doesn't make you weak. It unlocks understanding and makes you look smarter because you listened. Even in creativity, people who act dumb experiment freely. They try wild ideas without worrying if they'll look stupid. Most of those ideas fail, but one hits. That's the breakthrough. Play it safe, try to look smart, and you never find that edge. So, what's the psychology behind this ego defense? When your identity is tied to being the smart one, you ignore anything that threatens that image. You dismiss new ideas. You avoid admitting mistakes. That keeps you stuck. But when you give yourself permission to look clueless, ego defenses drop. You're free to absorb, test, and actually think. Here's a simple trick to build this habit. Next time you're learning something new, pretend you're explaining it to a 5-year-old. If you can't, admit it and ask the dumb questions until you can. That's not weakness, that's clarity. Even Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Genius often looks dumb at first. Another practice. Flip your assumptions. Instead of starting with, I already know, start with, what if I know nothing? That tiny shift changes everything. You notice details you normally skip. You see patterns others miss. You think from the ground up instead of layering guesses on guesses. And the research backs it up. Studies on problem solving show people with a beginner's mindset generate more creative solutions than those relying only on expertise. Expertise narrows thinking. Curiosity expands it. Acting dumb forces curiosity. So, let me ask you, what would happen if you stopped pretending to be smart? What if you started asking the questions everyone else is too scared to ask? Here's the paradox. The smartest move you can make is to stop performing intelligence. Act dumb. Ask, listen, experiment. That's how you cut through assumptions and actually think like a genius. Because acting dumb doesn't mean you are dumb. It means you're bold enough to look past appearances and get to the truth. And truth, no matter how awkward or simple it looks, is always where genius thinking starts. If you're still watching, like and subscribe to support this channel.